Pardon my spooky mess as I am preparing for the coziest, most magical era yet, but I didn't want to let the moving chaos get in the way of the fun that we have been having on the channel lately. And I really enjoyed your response to my Halloween hunting tips from last week, so I thought this week we could get more into the seasonal spirit of Summerween, and I'll be sharing my tips and tricks, no, not tips and tricks, tricks and treats on how to have the most spooktacular Summerween.
Monsters do have their place. In your nightmares, in the deep, in your favorite horror movies.
Hello, my spookies! If you're new here, my name is Mandy Spooks, and this is our spooky oasis where we celebrate the magic of Halloween and spooky pop culture every day. If you are a returning ghoul, hello and welcome back. So yeah, today's video kind of speaks for itself, but I just kind of wanted to touch on how miserable Summerween can be if you are really focused on the fact that it's just not our favorite time of year yet. So you will notice that while I love to do Halloween hunting, I don't typically do the whole like Halloween decorations and Halloween year round. I do celebrate milestones, but the reason that I lean into the seasonality like Summerween, Springoween, Valloween is because I have found that leaning into the actual season helps you enjoy your spooky things in a different way, but also not be so focused on what it isn't and trying to force it to be something it's not, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's how I see it. It is no secret that I am a vibe theme kind of ghoul, and so I have also found that leaning into the seasonality really gets me into just like a really good spooky mood when I'm like, if it's like a rainy season and I'm consuming rainy books or movies. If it's a hot season, then I like lean into like horror and like camping stories, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm like kind of already sharing tips, so instead I'm just gonna like jump right into my list. So I'm breaking this up into 3 things. First, we're going to go into embracing the seasonality of Summerween and my tricks and treats for that. And then I'll share how the community, how you spooky ghouls are actually going to be celebrating Summerween. And then at the end, I'm going to throw in some things you can do now to prepare for Halloween during Summerween, if that makes sense. That was a lot. All right. So number 1, I already said embrace the season of Summerween. And by that, I mean like do things that you can't do during Halloween because of weather reasons, you know? So number 1, this is actually a community favorite that so many of you have mentioned you do, is planning a Jaws movie night in the pool. I have personally never experienced this. It is on my bucket list. If anyone in Colorado wants to invite me to one, I will be there. But it sounds super fun to do a movie night with Jaws playing and like actually being in the pool. Scary. And also leaning into that, you could just do like a shark night, like a shark movie night. There's just like lots of ways you could have fun with the shark theme, in my opinion. So yeah, that's a great one. And then another one I have is telling scary stories around a campfire. You could either do this like while you're camping, or you could even just do like a little day trip or like go out into the desert or wherever you can, even if it's just like a bonfire in your backyard that you could do. So that's a really cool one. For bonus scary points, you could look up like stories that are related to the area you're in, or something that you know would really like spook the people you're telling the stories to. And then another idea I have is a Summerween carving party. I know a lot of you do like carving contest parties for pumpkins in the fall, but as you all know, carving watermelons is a huge deal for Summerween. So why not throw like an actual party? I feel like that would be so fun, honestly, because you could do so many things with watermelon. Like you could make cool drinks out of it, snacks, all of this cool stuff. So also, again, I cannot say this enough, if you're a ghoul in Colorado and you're having these Summerween festivities, please invite a ghoul. Let a ghoul know I'll be there. We could vlog about it together or not, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, and then next on my list is one of my favorites, which is going to a drive-in theater. I cannot stress this enough. There is always at least one spooky or horror movie that plays at drive-in theaters because they tend to also bring back like older cult classics as well. So find your nearest drive-in theater if you have one and keep an eye out on their events list because I'm sure there's bound to be like a spooky vibe happening at some point in the summer. And then next on my list is haunted picnics. Another thing that I have not done yet, but I have heard that Cheeseman Park, I never know how to pronounce it because everyone says it a different way, but Cheeseman Park in Denver is said to have been built over an actual cemetery and that it's haunted and things have happened. And I've always wanted to have like a spooky picnic out there, but I just haven't had the chance to yet. So I would recommend looking up like spooky history in your local area. I'm sure there's always like a rumor that a park was built over a cemetery or that a school was or something. So just do your research and find somewhere spooky to hang out for the day. Picnics are the best, honestly. I used to like take a magazine, a Bluetooth speaker, but nowadays who has time for that? But honestly, it would be a vibe and I'm gonna make it a Summerween checklist item for myself this year. Okay, and then next we have backyard movie marathon with a projector. So last year, Mr. Spooks and I did a cute little movie night in our patio and he set up the movie projector and it was such a vibe. We got lucky that it was like a rainy day, but if you're looking for clear skies, like just plan it out to have it in your backyard, throw a sheet up, have snacks, do your pumpkin carving, your Summerween summer pumpkin with your watermelon carving, and it would just be so much fun. Okay, and then next we have look for themed local events. So I feel like so many of us get caught up in like the word Halloween when really there are so many ways to embrace the spooky throughout the year. And one of those I think is doing themed events during the summer. And one of the things that I plan to do is go to a Taylor Swift dance party at some point because I know that all of the Swifties will be dressed like a different Taylor. And I am personally not a DIY costume kind of gal, but if you guys are, that's a great opportunity to do like one of the spooky looks from Taylor Swift or whichever, like whatever costume you do, it's a costume. And I feel like that's getting into the spirit of Halloween with costumes. There's also, if you're in Colorado, Elevate Immersive, who I've partnered with for a few events now, is bringing back their summer camp pop-up event, which would be really fun to check out. But there's always different kinds of events that you could check out to actually like do a costume for and get those Halloween vibes that you're like going out, dressing up and partying. I know there's like 80s nights sometimes. There's 80s bar crawls in Phoenix for sure. And I know Colorado is really known for having disco nights as well. So just like keep an open mind and go to things that will kind of give you those Halloween vibes, like dressing up, dancing, drinking the night away, you know, responsibly. But I think that that's like very much in the spirit of Halloween itself. So don't be afraid to kind of just like get those vibes from something else. And then next I have Ghost Town Exploration. This is not something I've ever done, but it is something that I've always wanted to do really badly. And with summer being like road trip season, explore your local areas. I am sure no matter where you live, like within 2 hours, there is a ghost town that you could visit or do something with. So I highly recommend trying that out. And then last on my Summerween seasonality list is, of course, embracing spooky summer movies and books. I cannot tell you guys how much fun I had last year when I had like an entire camp, like spooky summer camp theme for Spookworm Club when I was running it. We also did like Dark Waters, and that was really fun. So for me, like leaning into themes that go with summer and being spooky really helped me get through the summer, and I had like so much fun doing it, and I told myself like I can't wait until next summer because I'm gonna do even more things this year. So yeah, whatever the vibe you're craving is, just go all out with the theme with it. And if you're really craving like those fall vibes, it doesn't ever hurt to just give yourself like a couple of weeks, even a month, to just lean into those vibes in the books and the movies that you're watching, and then kind of like switch back into summer mode, because that's kind of what I do too. Like when I start feeling depressed and like, oh, I'm so so over summer, I'll like allow myself to like watch one spooky Halloween fall vibes movie or read one fall vibes book, and then I switch back into summer mode. So that's a really big recommendation I have, is if you're feeling super frustrated, give yourself some time to like be in the Halloween mindset and then switch back to it, because sometimes it just helps. Okay, and then getting into how the rest of the community is planning to celebrate Summerween, I figured I would share these so that if, in case they offer more inspo for you guys, that you guys could add that to your Summerween list as well. So Life on a Caravan said, finally watching AHS, which is actually a great tip if you guys are looking for like summer watches. I don't know if I recommend Delicate, but was it 1984? The 1984 season would be a great like summer watch list item. And then What Up Curbs said skeleton swimsuit, which I can't believe I missed this, but that's definitely another way to get into the Summerween spirit, is accessorizing with all the spooky things. So my swimsuit is all black, and then I always have my spooky sunnies, and then I also have like a spiderweb print umbrella, and then you'll also see throughout the summer I wear a lot of spooky bucket hats instead of my bow bands, because they help protect my head, because I've noticed like when I'm outside a lot, since I have thin hair, like my scalp starts to sunburn, so those bucket hats help me a lot. So that's another tip, is accessorize to get into the spooky spirit. And then Laylik said DIY projects that include spooky decor. And then Kaniki Sam said getting crafty and making myself a new wreath and other decor. And then Yana Loves Michi also said she's crafting the Trader Joe's bag. I didn't know about this, but apparently a Trader Joe's bag trended in March that people couldn't get, and then they are DIYing it to be like a spooky bag. So that's trending. So Yana's gonna try making one of those. And then she's also turning Valentine booths into Halloween booths, which sounds really fun. And then Rad Rachel said organizing and decluttering so my Halloween decorations can shine. And I think that's all of the submissions I got in the short time frame I had the story up. So yeah, as you can see, that brings me into my next one, which is using Summerween to prepare for your best Halloween ever. As you can tell, all of my spooky ghouls in the community use the time to start getting ahead on their DIY projects and prepping for Halloween. So for me, that's another way to mix in those Halloween vibes when you're feeling like very upset that you don't have them yet, is of course Halloween hunting, and then another thing is practice. Use the summer, use your summer gatherings to test out recipes, cocktail recipes, like beverages, even like if you're gonna do special lighting or makeup, now is the time to really like use it to perfect everything you want for Halloween. And then DIY is also like start making the decor that you can make at home so you can save some money. And if you are really into creating your costumes, then start planning and making your costume now so that you're not stressing over these things during actual spooky season and you can enjoy yourself. And then this is just a reminder that you can actually plant your pumpkins in May, sometimes in June, depending on where you live, so that they can be ready for Halloween. So that's like one thing. I would be doing that if we had a yard. And then the last thing would be to start preparing your Halloween 2024 bucket list. I'm probably going to do a video where I sit down and do that with you guys, but I think it's really important. I always say this, that you have to be very intentional to ensure that you actually create the spooky vibes you want and that you prioritize your own self-scare, whatever form that might be. So start thinking about your 2024 bucket list, what events you want to go to, what activities you want to do, what movies you want to watch, because before you know it, it'll be here and then you're gonna like jump into the madness of it, and then it's gonna be halfway gone and you're gonna be like, oh my god, I haven't even done half the things I want yet. So start preparing now. I promise you won't regret it. All right, so that is it for my tricks and treats to having the most spooktacular Summerween yet. But I would love to know your tricks and treats in the comments down below, because I'm sure you guys have many more amazing ideas. If you guys are loving all of these Summerween vibes, then be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, because next week I'm gonna be sharing a collection of mine that actually goes really well with Summerween. It's a collection I've never shared before, and I know how much you guys love to see all of the spooky things I own. own, so I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you guys next week. Don't forget, we do weekly uploads on Thursdays at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses. Bye!